We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
Hello and welcome to La La Land on LA Talk Live. That's Dorothy Dillingham Blue.
And over there is Brett Chapin.
Thanks for joining us on La La Land. This is the only nationally broadcast show by Los Angeles artists about Los Angeles artists on episode 160. So let me tell you something about Vanity Fair, Dorothy. No, just kidding.
Not
We'll
again.
leave that alone.
Yeah.
Hi, Dorothy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Well, I will. I'm a little on the. I went out last night.
I saw your tweets.
Yes.
Yes.
I was out.
All right.
Did I tweet last night?
No, your Facebook post.
Oh, Facebook.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Like, I
this
wouldn't
morning
have
people
remembered.
I got replies from emails that apparently I sent at 12:30 last night.
You know what? I get my best work done at 12:30 at night. 1
After
in the
two
morning.
old fashions?
Well, maybe not after 2 old fashions. No.
I'm just saying.
I don't drink old fashions.
But I
after
was-
alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah. I was out with my We Will Survive cast members.
Oh,
Yeah.
the rowdy bunch.
We are. We're kind of rowdy, and that's
Yes.
okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, we went to the Culver Hotel,
All right.
so it was a good
A
time.
couple drinks, good times
Mhm.
on a Friday night.
Yep.
Awesome. How's Shrek going at Theater Palisades?
Great. We have our cast. We might have some new additions coming as well. But we start rehearsals July 7th, and we open July 25th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've got Don't Dress for Dinner is closing this weekend.
That's right, I'm
Last
going
weekend to
tonight.
see it. Are you?
I am.
Okay, cool. I think I'm going tomorrow afternoon.
Very fun.
And
Tomorrow I'll be
awesome show.
busy having a lovely brunch because tomorrow is.
Mother's Day.
That's right.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm not your mother, but anyway.
Do you know what Rex and Travis are getting you besides a brunch? Or that's going to be a
don't know.
surprise?
Well, you know what I did yesterday is at Rex's school they had a Mother's Day tea. It was so
That's cute.
It was so stinking cute, you guys. I mean, they sang these little songs and Rex is just singing out loud and looking around and it was really funny. And then they go for a group picture and everyone's like, looking like this and then Rex is going.
Of course,
He's like
because
making
he's
a
the
big
star.
fuss.
He's a performer. He's a performer's son.
Well, and they write
He's-
down, they do this, they filled out this form about mom, like facts about mom.
Okay.
And according to him, I'm 20, so he'll certainly get all of my inheritance when I
Then
die.
you broke the law last night by drinking.
I did.
Yeah.
So so I'm 20 years old, and then he when it said what does she do for work, it says for work she rehearses plays. That's what
Which
he
is
put
true.
as my job, which is totally true.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, does he think we never get to the performance? But so it was really cool to see his perspective. And he also
Cool.
all of his drawings had my hair in like a flip, which I do always have a flip. So it was pretty neat.
It's accurate.
Very
nice.
accurate.
Well, happy Mother's Day to you.
Thanks.
And to all the moms. And to my mom. And to, moms around the world.
Around the world.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Mhm.
It's kind of an exciting show, and kind of some exciting things happened this week in so far as theater.
Mhm.
Doug Clayton, our friend Doug Clayton, wrote a
Yes.
great article in Bitter Lemons about a friend of his, a local LA theater community member, very, very talented, who is moving to New York to pursue his master's degree because he feels that theater in LA, it's very hard to make a living at.
Okay.
Which is understandable that he
Mhm.
feels that way. And, his article was basically talking about, yes, LA is a theater town, but is it a professional theater town?
Right.
So great article on Bitter Lemons. You guys check it out. It's very interesting stuff.
Yes.
Great show last week. We had Lauren Lester.
We did.
And we had the cast of The Vortex in.
On the
On the
phone.
On
Yes.
the phone.
I'm like, they weren't in here.
Yeah, not technically in. And we were going to have Doug Harvey from the Ghost of Gershwin at the group rep, but LA traffic is insane, and
It
he
is.
got a little caught up. But we have him on the phone, so we're going to be talking to him in a little bit too.
Cool.
And then this week on the show,
Yes, we have Chris Raymond from Doma Theater Company, and they are doing a new work called Dorian's Descent, based on the picture of Dorian Gray. Very
cool.
exciting.
Can't wait to talk to him. We also have Ed Robinson and Rick Robinson of Pairings the Series, pairingstheseries.com. They're old friends of the show. They've actually both been on the show on separate shows before. So now we have them here together to talk about Pairings Season 2.
Voila.
Yes. And we have music today from Lena Gwendolyn, our friend Lena Gwendolyn.
Great.
She's we're going to be playing some of her music because she has her show on the 19th at the Lemon Room in the Valley coming up. It's her cabaret show, Lena Gwendolyn and Friends.
Yes.
So we'll listen to music from her in the commercial breaks, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
And that's everybody.
That's all we got.
Right?
That's it.
Is the Pope here?
No, but Obama was in town.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I
which
heard traffic was crazy.
Oh, it snags traffic so terribly. My husband works in Century City, which is exactly where he was and was traveling around, and they were putting the huge cement pylons to block off things. So Travis, he left early to pick up Rex because I was stuck in where was I? Oh, I went to some workshop or something. But yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Obama always causes problems.
Just take
when
a
he comes
freaking
to
helicopter.
town.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the president. Take a helicopter.
He can
It's
afford it.
LA. You know, even if he can't, someone that's just contributing can.
Yeah.
Yes.
You contributing persons.
Do that.
Yes.
Chappas. Get the chappas.
If you have any questions for our amazing guests, make sure to call this number right below me. 323-473-3100, 323-473-3100. And you can also tweet questions to @LaLaLandTalk.
Ooh.
We monitor that during the show. Anytime you
true.
see us like looking down at our phones, we're
Brett's
not being
better
rude.
at it than me.
We're just checking to see if there's any questions on Twitter. So feel free to send those. And make sure you check out Grey's Anatomy this Thursday.
Yes, I've been seeing the pictures posted. I'm very excited.
Yes.
So it's Thursdays at 9?
Thursdays at 9 on ABC.
Wonderful.
It's going to be awesome. They posted
Yes.
like 7 pictures online, publicity pictures. I'm in a few of them, and
I'm so excited because you have a very specific look on your face in all of them.
yes,
And I'm fascinated to know why that look, because I know you and I know that you are a reacting guy. So there must be something that's going on to give you that specific expression that you have on your face. And so I'm really interested to find out why you have that. That's like,
our friend Shari Barrett calls it the Seymour deer in the headlights look. But it's a really intense scene. Actually, I got to shoot 3 scenes, and they're all really, really intense, especially one in particular.
Okay.
So
that's when you'd be like,
yeah, if you'll watch, that's why my eyes are wide. It's
Say,
because there's
"What?"
something important going on that I can't talk about because I don't give spoilers.
that's right.
But it's the season finale. So
Very cool.
It should be really great. Christine Sandra O's last episode.
Yes.
So check it out Thursday at 9.
Mhm.
You might see someone you know playing a character that I can't talk about. Good stuff.
You're in a suit.
You want to talk to Doug Hervey?
Yeah, let's talk to him. Hey, Doug.
Hey,
Hi, how are you, my dear?
I'm good. You guys are funny.
We're all filled with coffee and plasma today, Doug.
It's
Well, whatever it is, it's working.
Oh, good.
I know why that's funny.
Well, inside jokes on La La Land.
Mhm.
Hi, Doug. You just opened last night, actually. The Ghost of
We
Gershwin.
did. Yes, the world premiere
Excellent.
in North Hollywood.
Mhm.
At the group rep, thegrouprep.com
Group Rep.
for information. And how did it go? How was opening night?
It was really, really great. I've been doing this for a number of years now, and you never know when you open that oven door what the cake is going to look like. I mean, you spend months, sometimes a year, crafting stuff, working with actors, directors, choreographers, and you put it all in there, and then you open it, and you just think, okay, please let the cake rise, and then don't let it fall. When you take it out like an angel food cake, and it rose perfectly, and it stayed high.
Good. Good to hear.
Excellent.
And
Yeah.
you were telling us that the Ghosts of Gershwin, although it's called the Ghosts of Gershwin, does not actually have Gershwin music in it.
It doesn't. It is the story is about a young film composer who is enamored of Gershwin, and he can't he's like they say, you're in a Gershwin gorge. You need to write other stuff. And he's in an apartment in Brooklyn. It takes place today. And they find this old piano in the basement, and they bring it up to his apartment. And he finds a note from Gershwin, and then all of a sudden, the ghost of Gershwin is there. And he wants to ask him all kinds of questions about music and hints and help, and Gershwin only wants to talk to him about life.
That sounds great. If it was me, I would be asking Gershwin questions about music too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the thought sort of is to be universal, so that if anyone has someone who's inspired them, and you got to meet them and you got to ask them questions, what would it be like? So this is specifically about a musician and a musician he admired, but it could be anyone. It could be a football player and some football hero that he gets to meet, and it's so we don't hear any Gershwin music, but we do hear a lot of songs that are written as kind of an homage to George and Ira.
Sounds great. How did the idea come about? Is this your baby? Is this your idea? I know that you're the book writer.
I'm the book writer, and the composer is Waylon Picard, who is a wonderful writer, performer, for many years, and he is enamored of George Gershwin and Ira, and he's researched their music, and he was hoping that he could create songs that people would hear and go, now wait a minute, is that a Gershwin song? It sounds like one. So he started working on this many years ago. They had several drafts, and when they were going to do it at the group rep, they asked me to rewrite the book, and I said I would, on one condition, that I could start over from scratch as far as the story goes. So the only thing that remains from the original concept is that this young composer is met by the ghost of George Gershwin.
Sounds
All right.
fantastic. And you guys, you opened last night. You run till June 22nd. Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sundays at 2?
That's right, Friday and Saturday 8 and Sunday at 2.
Excellent.
And where's your space?
It's the Group Rep Theater, and it's in North Hollywood. It's been there for in that building since 1984. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary. You know where Madeline Clark Studios is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In North Hollywood?
Yes.
Probably we have been to lots of auditions and rehearsals there. We are 2 doors west of that. There's Madeline Clark, then Rent a Wreck, and then the Group Rep.
All right.
I recently
And
saw...
they filmed Beaches there. All of the production numbers from the movie Beaches were filmed in that theater.
Wow.
It was supposed to be a New York theater,
Yeah.
but they actually filmed it there because it was closer to Disney.
Out. That is really cool.
I recently went there to see Boing Boing. It was fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really nice space. A lot of history there. And you have a lot of well-known celebrities on the board of directors over there, don't you?
Yes, well, it was started by Lonnie Chapman, and he knew a lot of people. He was in, I think, 4 original Broadway productions and tons of movies. So he had a summer stock in Upper New York. So he, throughout the course of time, he knew a lot of people. So a lot of those people are on the advisory board.
Excellent. Well, thanks so
And
much for...
Our musical's directed by Jules Aaron. I don't know if you know that name, but he's been around doing, I think he's done 60 original musicals and, hundreds of other plays, but he's wonderful. And then our choreography is by Michelle Bernath, and it is so fun.
Well, it sounds like a great show.
See it.
Yeah, well, definitely. Sounds great.
Okay.
The Ghosts of Gershwin, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sundays at 2 at the Group Rep, thegrouprep.com for information. That's Lonnie Chapman's Group Rep Theater. And thank you so much for joining us, Doug.
Thank you guys for having me.
Doug
I
Hervey.
look forward to seeing you at the show.
All right. Thank you much.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're going to be getting that all day today.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I know. Well, you deserve it.
That's right.
It's earned.
Hello.
Yeah. The Ghosts of Gershwin, Lonnie Chapman Group Rec. Go see it.
Excellent. Should we take a little short break?
Yeah, why not?
Yep, take a little short break. We'll be back with La La Land with Brett and Dorothy. We're going to talk to Chris Raymond from Noma.
Yeah, we will.
Cool.
Haircut, simply terrible necktie, the worst bearing, just unbearable. What to tackle first? Still you've got possibilities, though you're terribly square. You've got possibilities underneath. There's something there, baby. You're improvable. It won't take long. Mountains can be movable if the spirit's strong. Still you've got possibilities. Takes a moment to tell. You've got possibilities. Let me pry you from your shell. You won't be shy when I get through. Come on and roar, you tiger, you. Somewhere way down deep in you there's life. No doubt it's just been asleep in you. Let me bring it out. Oh, you got possibilities, baby, but not alive. Red hot possibilities, you know, even though you've got.
This is Brett Chapin.
And this is Dorothy Dillingham Blue, inviting you to join us every Saturday at noon Pacific Standard Time for our show, La La Land Talk.
Join us as we talk with some of the top talent in LA. Artists' untold stories, your phone calls, and live on-location broadcasts have made La La Land one of the best sources in LA for everything entertainment.
So don't forget to tune in to La La Land Talk.
Exclusively on latalklive.com.
You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com.
Saturdays at noon Pacific Time. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/LaLaLandTalk, Twitter, twitter.com/LaLaLandTalk. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live.
And we are more than just talk. I think we've got a Shakespeare monologue or two we could do. Yeah.
Jazz hands.
Kickball change.
Good
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying.
I'll do some Pippin.
Ooh, yeah. Some miming. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box.
My clothes ain't all fancy, and my car ain't brand new, but there is joy in my house.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on LATalkLive.com. Inspirational radio,
with a touch of recovery.
a reality show where nothing is left unsaid,
And no one is insignificant who says it.
exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show, GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes under R&B or watch us live on Ustream TV. We are reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. We're more than just talk. We're heaven's party here on earth.
What's up, world? This is Nicolas Cage, inviting you to join us every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Time for New Rules Radio. Join us as we lend our social satire to the week's leading topics, including music, fashion, and politics. So don't forget to tune in to New Rules Radio, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Brett.
Oh, does that mean I have to go and talk?
Yeah. Well, I can talk.
Welcome back to La La Land on LA Talk Live. That's Dorothy Dillingham Blue. I'm Brett Chapin. The mics are hot. And we're talking. We're going to be talking later with Ed and Rick Robinson from Pairings the Series, but right now we're talking to Chris Raymond from Doma Theater Company.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So why are you here?
I am here.
No, you have an amazing show called Dorian's Descent
Yeah.
coming up. It's opening in a couple weeks, right?
Right,
Excellent.
exactly.
Very
What's
cool.
your opening date?
May 30th.
May 30th.
Opens May 30th at the Met Theater in Hollywood,
Very
which is right by Santa Monica and Western, for people who don't know.
Very cool. And
And-
tell us about Dorian's Descent.
Yes.
Well, Dorian's Descent, originally, me and the other creators thought of it about 2 years ago. So it's been in the works for a little while, you know. And it is based on the book by Oscar Wilde, The Picture of Dorian Gray. And it's basically a modern adaptation. We don't say the exact location, nor do we say the exact time frame that it's set in, but it does have a very modern feel, almost like a hyper modern feel to it. And there's a lot of music in it. There's about 24 songs, so there's a lot of
24
music.
songs?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's like
goodness.
a song cycle.
That's a lot of music. And it's not an operetta. But there's a lot of music in it. And it's very eclectic. The music, it ranges from Bernstein-esque Broadway-sounding music to modern classical, kind of operatic, rock. Everything's in there. And
Well, that kind of goes with the whole timeless
Right.
theme
totally.
of Picture of Dorian Gray. If you don't
Yeah.
know, it's that the picture ages and he doesn't. So
Right.
So
Yeah.
Is it all music or is there a book as well?
No, there's a book as well.
Okay.
And maybe by saying 24 songs makes it sound like it's really long. It's not that long.
24 short
It's not
songs.
that long.
Okay.
It's not that long. But it does have a book. And right from when we first started working on it, writing it, we knew that we did want to have a book as well. We didn't want it to just be an operetta because we felt that for this show it would help make it a little bit easier for everyone to enjoy, because we really want the show to be not just for hardcore theater enthusiasts, but also just for anyone in the general public who wants to come and have a great time and enjoy something new.
Sure.
And the idea was conceived by me, Marco Gomez, who co-wrote the book and lyrics, and he's also the director of the show. And then there's another person named Michael Gray, who co-wrote the book and wrote the music, co-wrote the book, co-wrote the lyrics. I'm a musical director, co-producer, orchestrator, musical director. If I didn't say that, conductor, rehearsal pianist,
Does it all.
in charge of janitorial services. It doesn't ever.
That's just as important as the actors and the
is.
writers.
it really is.
Very cool. How do you find
Towel
this-
boy.
Whatever. Jack of all trades.
There
Yeah.
you go.
How do you find this different than other shows that you've done musical directing? Well, what's different about this show? What makes it special for you?
Well, I mean, it's a different experience for myself because I've never written the music for an original musical up to this point. I've done a lot of revivals. I've musically directed a lot of revivals, shows like Dreamgirls, Jekyll and Hyde, Xanadu, Tommy, all these different things. But when you're doing an original show, it's so fun because you're just creating, basically as you go, and you can do anything you want with it, as opposed to something like Avenue Q. You basically know how it's going to end up,
Sure.
Kind of a general idea.
There are puppets and cursing.
There are puppets and cursing, I mean, you can take some liberties. Maybe we'll do some different costumes on the puppets or something, But it's so fun doing an original work because you really can do anything. I've been an orchestrator of original musicals, and I've musically directed staged readings of original works. But to do a full production of something that's new, because we're thinking about not just, the sound, but the look, the lights, the set. We have an amazing team doing this. It's really a dream team. We have Johnny Cavelli doing the sets, and he's done sets for Broadway tours. He's an Emmy Award-winning set designer. He did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He's done all these amazing things. Our set is outrageous. Outrageous. It's going to be
awesome.
Competing with the sets of like Pantages.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's something that's not been done, I don't think, in 99-seat theater before. You'll walk in and it's just going to blow it's huge. We have lighting designed by a very talented man named Jean-Yves Tessier. And we're actually using this old French lighting technique to make the portrait change. Because for people who don't know the story, a young man sells his soul so that a portrait of him will age while he stays forever young, and he ends up doing all these horrible things. He even murders, and there's a lot of bad stuff. Long story short, there's a lot of bad stuff. But we see the portrait change. So we're having actual portraits being painted. We have an amazing painter doing that. And we're going to see it change before our very eyes using this old technique. So it's a mixture of old, old theater magic with new theater magic. And we have a great sound designer named Julie Farron who's done Broadway tours and all these things. And she's going to be doing a lot of fun, sound effects. And yeah, it's going to be.
It sounds like it's going to be a real theatrical experience walking in the door.
Absolutely.
That's cool. I love, and I think that's so important to really, the theater is that sacred place when you walk in, that's when the experience should begin.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes, it's like, la, 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 and like, the lights are going down, we should pay attention. But if you have that feeling, and I think the first time I was at an experience like that was Blue Man Group, when there was no corner that was left unblue Man Group. Even when you're in the bathroom, it's like, hey, you're in the Blue Man bathroom. Don't forget to wipe the seat. I mean, just think, not that you have to do that with Dorian, but
that's exactly how it is. I mean, the second you walk in, you are in a different world,
right.
And you don't know what time it is. You don't know exactly where you are. It's a metropolitan city that you're probably in. Maybe in America. But the second you walk into the theater, into the lobby, you are going to be transported into a place that has nothing to do with the street you just walked from. And which I do think is really important, because it should be like a ride, and this show is totally a ride, and you'll learn some things. You'll certainly learn some things you should never do. And it's gonna be a really exciting show. I mean, for us, now we're rehearsing it. We just finished our third week of rehearsals. I mean, we're living in that world at every single rehearsal, especially since we actually have this set up and we're bringing in tech elements already. So we really are like living in that world,
It's awesome. That's how it should be.
So,
all encompassing.
Exactly.
Portrait of Dorian Gray is one of my favorite books.
Really?
So good.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's so fascinating.
Interesting. Yeah. Amazing.
Because Chris and I go way back. He was my musical director for Brats in Space.
Yes.
At Theater Palisades.
We worked at Theater Palisades.
It's true. And
we were all in that.
It's true, because you were a Mondar.
That's right.
Yes, that's what it was.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay.
I was the pink gorilla.
The pink gorilla. Yeah. We had a fun time in that, and I remember, because I was like, searching out a musical director, and it was your energy that I knew. I was like, oh, that's, because my husband goes, you liked the first guy, right? Because you were the first one I met, and then I'm like, well, I have to meet these other people because I made appointments, but I don't think I'm gonna like them as much. But
hopefully
also,
they're not listening right now.
Hopefully they're not. But it was also the conversation of starting as a young performer like you did, and our listeners, inform them kind of like how you kind of came on this journey to becoming a writer of musicals.
Well, I started working professionally in the theater world when I was about 14, 15. When I was 15 years old, I was working at the Kirk Douglas Theater as a pit musician. When I was 16, I was at the Mark Taper Forum. I was at the Goodspeed Opera House. I did a show called 13 the Musical with Jason Robert Brown. I was with that for a number of years and ended up doing it on Broadway when I was 17 and I turned 18. So I did, I did a lot of performing. It's funny because when I originally got involved with music, I mean, the only thing I wanted to do was write, but I guess some composers, have the luxury, they just go, I want to write, and they just write, but some people have to work up, there's another way to do it, through performing, then conducting, music directing, and then that's the route I took. But I did a tour with Jason Howland. It was a show called Handel's Messiah Rocks, which is a modern adaptation of The Messiah by Handel. And, of course, Jason Howland wrote Little Women, the musical, so I worked closely with him, worked closely with Tom Kitt, who wrote Next to Normal, and I worked with him in New York. He was my musical director when I was playing, so I learned so much from these amazing people, And then when I started full-time music directing around 19, maybe 18, 19. And I started writing this show about, the idea came up about 2 years ago. And that's when I knew I really wanted to start focusing on writing more. But with this show, I mean, it's so great that I did have all that experience because I am playing in this, I am music directing it. So everything I learned, I'm using. Basically everything I learned in my life, I'm using on this show. Trying to get this thing up. But yeah, so it was amazing working with all those different people. And now to be writing, it's interesting to be on the other side. To be on the other side and see what they were going through. And
because I think sometimes when you're on one side and you don't have a perspective of the other, then you forget like, oh, that is more challenging to have so much alliteration or a run is difficult sometimes, a vocal run when you're trying to do that and balance breath and stay healthy and still provide the character and all that. So once you've lived that part, then I think you can write with care. I think sometimes.
No, it's true.
I think you need that experience, that life experience to draw upon. I think the best actors are the ones that have that life experience, and that haven't had it easy.
Right. And then directors as well, I think you're able to pull a performance from an actor who is either green or just having some roadblocks by relating to them on a certain level of being like, hey, you remember this? Wanted to try that? And that
well, it helps having been there, having gone down that road yourself and remembering, what it was like.
Every actor I've heard interview say that Martin Scorsese is a master at that, just bringing his life experience and getting the person to behave like the character rather than act like the character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
cool. Well, I'm
so
so
much
excited
for joining us.
Yes, we will be there. We will go.
Yes,
excited.
please.
It opens May 30th.
May 30th, yes.
Great. At the Met Theater in Hollywood.
Yes.
And for tickets, where do we go?
Go to doriansdescent.com, and you can get tickets there.
Great.
How long do you run for?
Our initial run is going to be 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But maybe get extended.
Yeah.
Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday matinees? Is that how it's
Friday
working?
and Saturday night at 8 p.m. And then Sundays at 3 p.m.
Excellent.
Great.
Yeah.
At the Met Theater.
At the Met Theater. So
very cool.
Go to doriansdescent.com.
Yeah.
Yes, and get tickets while you can. We're selling.
Awesome.
So
great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Thanks,
Chris.
Chris.
It's so great to see you.
It's great to see you. It's been too long.
I know.
Yeah. And great to see you too.
Great to see you
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Demandar.
Yeah, we'll be back, take a quick break, and we will be back to talk with Ed and Rick Robinson of Pairings the Series on La La Land with Brett and Dorothy on LA Talk Live.
Middle-lark. You guys know it? Okay, you don't. All right, then let's take a deep collective breath. All right. When I was a girl, I had a favorite story. polished bronze and gold braid. And he fed her fruit and nuts from an ivory chalice. And he raved, sing for me, my meadow lark, sing for me of the silver morning, set me free, my meadow lark, and I'll buy you a priceless jewel and a cloth brocade and crewel, and I'll love you for life if you will sing for me. Then one day, as the lark sang by the water, the god of the sun heard her in his flight, and her singing moved him, so he came and brought her the gift of sight. He gave her sight, and she opened her eyes to the shimmer and the splendor of this beautiful young god, so proud and strong. And he spoke to the lark in a voice both rough and tender, come along, fly with me, my meadow lark, fly with me on the silver morning, past the sea where the dolphins bark. We will dance on the coral beaches, make a feast of the plums and peaches, just as far as your vision reaches. Fly with me. But the meadow lark said no, for the old king loved her so. She couldn't bear to wound his pride. So the sun god flew away. When the king came down that day, he found his meadow lark had died. Every time I heard that part, I cried. And now I stand here starry-eyed and stormy. Oh, just when I thought my heart was finally numb, a beautiful young man appears before me, singing, come, oh, won't you come? And what can I do if finally, for the first time, the one I'm burning for returns the glow? If love has come at last, has picked its worst time, still I know I've got to go fly away, my meadow lark, fly away on the silver morning. If I stay, I'll grow to curse the dark, so it's off when the days won't find me. I know I'll leave wounds behind me, but I won't let tomorrow find me back this way. Before my past once again can blind me. My and we won't wait to say goodbye, my beautiful young
Welcome back to La La Land on LA Talk Live. That was the amazing Lena Gwendolyn
Yep.
singing it.
That's right. She's going to be at the Lemon Room on the 19th, you said?
Yes, the 19th.
Very
Her very
fun.
first cabaret show, Lena Gwendolyn and Friends.
Yep. I thought it was her second. Didn't you do another one?
I don't believe so.
All right.
But I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, Lena. Hi, Ed and Rick Robinson.
How's it going? Hi. Before we start, I think it's really important that we Happy Mother's Day, Dorothy.
Why, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our studio audience.
We need to get that out of the way. Yeah, they're beautiful people out there.
Yeah, looking good, guys. Looking good. Well, Ed and Rick are from Pairings, the series, pairingstheseries.com, or Pairings Series on Twitter. And Pairings the Series is in season 2 now.
Yeah.
Just finished season 1.
Yeah, we just finished season 1. I wish we had a date to announce, but late June is when we're going to release season 2.
Okay.
We finished filming. We have actually, I have an announcement. Our LA premiere is actually going to be our world premiere, I suppose, is going to be on Tuesday, June 3rd at the Garage. It's a special motor club. We have our own private room, and we're going to screen it for anybody who wants to come. The tickets will be available on Monday at eventbrite.com.
Awesome.
Cool.
And you guys play brothers in Pairings the Series. You, of course, play Alan, Ed, and Rick. You're the director. And you play Alan's brother. What's your character's name again? I'm sorry. Drew. Drew.
It's a stretch.
I can imagine. Yeah, tell us about Pairings. What's the plot all about? What's the series about?
Well, I drew on personal experiences, so it's really about food and cooking, and it's the premise of the first season was very much about a guy who could make himself sexier by cooking. We really feel that in this day and age, men cooking is a sexy thing. So it was about a guy who was a very good cook, and he started using that from urging from his family and friends. He started using his cooking to have better luck with women because he was very awkward and not very good with them beforehand, and it works.
Yeah.
The problem is by the end of season 1, he's kind of gotten himself into a little bit of trouble. He's gotten to the point where he's actually successful with women, but he doesn't quite know what to do with his success now because he's dating he's dating 2 women at the same time, and that's
That never ends well.
No, it's not a good thing.
I'm just gonna say that does not end well.
Yeah. And I really like one of the things that I really like about the show is that you guys really integrate the food with the show. Like at the opening of every episode, like one episode you were making lasagna, and it was the shot of laying on the pasta, and then the next shot was laying on the sauce, and it was kind of a metaphor for the episode. If I'm not reading too much into that.
No. If we've done
back the layers.
If we've done the job right, every recipe that I've used for each episode should thematically play into that episode. I mean, some episodes work more than others, like the lasagna is a perfectly good example of that, but it is intentional that I want that to be part of the theme of the show. And then, of course, you can go online to our website and find all the recipes that the characters make on the show, and you can make them at home. So our show makes you hungry, but the good news is you can
do something about it.
Exactly.
You can be like,
And
I'm
it actually
hungry, I'm gonna eat.
It's like instructional too, because it really shows each step of the cooking process.
It does.
It's really cool.
Nice.
Good stuff. When are you gonna start dating the sushi girl? Come on. If you watch episode 6 at the season finale, I don't want to give it away, but there's a reveal.
Well, it's been out for a year now. I think the cat's out of the bag.
There's a reveal. This sushi chef who, well, I'll let you tell everyone about it.
Sure. I mean, Rick, do you want to?
Yeah, at the end of season 1, we get the hint that Alan's been wrong about his sushi chef friend who he thinks is married. He's been wrong the whole time, so there's an opportunity for romance revealed at the very end of season 1.
And this is...
To know more, you just have to watch season 2.
You assume that he and the other owner of the sushi restaurant are brother and sister throughout season 1, or at least Alan does. But, I'm sorry, that's not true.
You assume they're married. They are brother and sister.
Yes.
And this is the woman that he goes to every time he has a bad date. He goes to the sushi restaurant to
For me, it was funny.
to her.
I thought the idea that instead of Alan going to a bartender to kind of talk about his problems, the typical bartender scene to have somebody to talk to, he goes to his sushi bar tender. So that was somebody he went to and that he could be himself around. And actually, season 1 starts with a little bit of flashback, so you get a little bit of the history of Alan and the sushi chef. And how they met and how that started.
I don't think I've ever seen a female sushi chef.
Well, it's a whole
practice.
thing. We talk about it a little in season 2. It's interesting. The sushi restaurant that we shoot at actually, the sushi chef at that restaurant is female, and it's actually, well, Philip and his wife run the sushi restaurant, and she's a female sushi chef, and it's actually very frowned upon in Japan because it's funny in the kitchen, like out front, it's very frowned upon to have a female sushi chef. In the kitchen, you have several prep sushi chefs, but it's the reasoning they use is because women run a few degrees warmer than men, so they can actually ruin the fish by touching it. It's nonsense.
What?
No, it's totally nonsense, especially since sushi chefs, like according to the owners of Sushi Central, they drink lots of sake while they're making the fish. So
Sushi Central on Palms and Overland?
Yeah, exactly. That's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so you know how he won the throwdown with Bobby Flay, right?
I did not know that.
You did not know this. That's Sushi Central.
Philip?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
He talked to me a little bit about how something had shot there. I didn't realize it was Throwdown. That's
yeah,
funny.
He did a throwdown there. And then when my sister was in town, because my sister's a chef, and she was in town to do a Food Network series. And so after she was eliminated, she couldn't go home because, you can't reveal that you've been eliminated. So she stayed with me for 2 weeks. and I said, well, you've got to go to Sushi Central and talk to this guy, because we had gone and he was really lovely. And so we were talking, and he's like, oh, well, you should come back. We're doing this underground restaurant. So then they did. I mean, she came. She had a wonderful time. Like, it ended up being this great thing just for her to be able to talk to somebody who'd gone through a crazy experience, and she met all kinds of people in the industry. It was really fun.
That's real. And Philip did, we have sushi represented in season 1, and he made the sushi for us that we have on camera. And
oh yeah,
we have Shannon Nelson claims she hates sushi, and he made sushi that she loved and enjoyed eating. So
he's interesting because he's out and about in the restaurant. Like, a lot of times they don't go past the sushi bar. Like, they won't.
Philip's a friendly guy.
He's
a good
out and
dude.
about.
And they actually, he and his wife regularly cater for a lot of film shoots. I know they did Quentin Tarantino's last film. They had. He apparently loves sushi, so they had them out to do one of their days for catering.
It's good. Yeah, it's excellent sushi. By
So
the way.
go and eat there.
Yes, at Palms and Overlands.
Yes.
In the Culver City area.
We should have him on the show and bring us samples.
Yeah.
I'm always figuring out a way to eat for free on this show.
Oh yes. Now, do you ever use wine as a pairing?
Yeah.
In any of your.
Wine
yeah.
and beer both.
Nice.
Beer is a very big component because the two brothers are home brewers, and
okay.
And we actually have, for our season 2, we are sponsored by The Brewery. It's spelled differently than it's BRUERY.
You can do it. You can get there.
Where is that?
They're in Placentia or Fullerton kind of area. They're
Okay.
We had to travel a bit, but it's a beautiful place. I mean, great beer.
Oh, fun.
And we have a clip actually from season 2 that we can play.
I'm so excited.
I want to hear what's going on with season 2.
You have his restaurant to take care of. True. I couldn't help a ton, but you don't need to answer stupid bets about sleeping with women either. Right? I know. It's just I don't get women. Maybe it's because I never knew my mother. Oh. I was an orphan. I still got laid at 14. Of course, I wasn't exactly proud of who I was back then. I still can't imagine you in juvie. Yeah, well, I was kind of into too much alcohol and drugs back then. But I always knew how to treat a lady. It's true. My father.
I probably should have had you set that up first, but what's going on in that scene?
Well, that has in season 2 we have a guest star, Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Is in our show, and that's very exciting, and we're really, really happy to have him. And I'll let Rick talk a little bit about the scene.
Richard is a friend of Drew and Alan's father, who was his sous chef, who's now taken over Alan and Drew's father's restaurant called Imagine. And this is a scene where he and Alan are cooking together, and Alan's asking him for a bit of advice, and he's made a mess of his life, and Richard Hatch is kind of a mentor character to Alan. And it's a love, like he was great. Like, he came in, he was just like any other actor. He did his work, he took direction, and it was lovely to work with him. And I think the final result of the scene, it's nice. It's a really good scene.
Yeah.
Ultimately, pairings is about relationships. I mean, a lot of it, season 1, a big component of it is that all the characters' father has passed away, and that's an important moment in season 1. and it's about relationships. And so we brought Richard Hatch in, and he's kind of an uncle figure, and Alan's relationship with him is an important part of it.
And they're cooking in the scene, and it's
Yeah.
like you
You
know
can hear it, the sizzle.
Yeah, you see him mentoring him with the food and mentoring him in life. It's it's another instance where the cooking is helping tell the story of the relationship between the people.
I don't think that there are any shows that combine food and story the way yours does.
I don't think so. I mean, there's movies.
There's
the
movies,
The
yeah.
movie Chef just came out, which I have not
Yeah.
seen, but I'm curious to see if it takes a similar tack.
That's the Jon Favreau,
Yeah,
right?
Jon Favreau. I
Mhm.
think it just came out.
And what can audiences look forward to in season 2? Can you give us any sort of tease?
Oh, sure. You can certainly look forward to a much more ensemble cast. You can see a lot more of it's not just Alan centric. All my favorite shows are the entire cast is important, and so you can see it. You can look forward to a lot more Bobbert. So you can see a lot more of him in his underwear, and there's going to be an interesting. It's not quite a sex scene, but there's a very interesting foreplay scene that you're gonna see in season 2 that I think everybody can look forward to.
We add Paula Rhodes to our cast, who's just out now. New Adventures of Peter and Wendy just came out, another web series. We add her to our cast as a love interest for Bobbert, and that's a lot of fun. We have more family drama, we have romance, we have funny. It's a show, I think in season 2 we embrace the serio-comic nature of it. So it's a show that I feel like delivers both. It delivers human drama, relationships. At the same time, I think there's going to be a lot of very funny moments in season 2 that people will enjoy.
Can't wait. And we have a caller on the line.
Oh, that's exciting.
Someone with a question. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
Good. I just had a question about locations and where season 2 was shot, and a little bit, where, like how you got them.
What's your name?
Jamie.
Hi,
Okay.
Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. So what
Hi.
for Jamie's question? What about locations?
No, that's interesting. The sushi restaurant, I mean, it was just a lot of groundwork to just email a lot of different sushi restaurants that were, I found out were closed on a Sunday or a Monday, and then emailing them. And we talked with several, but we liked Sushi Central the best. The brewery was the same kind of thing. It's really tough. You write a show and you have a limited budget, and you write these scenes with these important locations like sushi restaurants and breweries, and it's very difficult to get these locations to shoot in LA. Every place knows about filming and they want a certain fee, but if you look around enough, we've been very lucky that actually in both instances one of our first choices was actually one of the ones that took us on. The brewery, I thought they were out of our league. I was very excited when they let us film there, because they're some of my favorite beer in the world, really. Like they're fantastic. I mean, try their stuff. They're a lot of San Diego beers are my favorite. I'm kind of a beer snob. I enjoy beer and wine both very much, but a lot of the breweries in San Diego are delicious, but and Denver, Colorado has great stuff, but the brewery in LA in Placentia is it's amazing, and I'm really happy we got to shoot there.
One thing we were excited about this season 2 is that we got permitted to shoot on a beach, one just over the county line towards Ventura. What's the name of the beach that we shot at?
It's one of the ones in Malibu. It's at Point Magoo.
Point Magoo. Anyway, we were out there and we were permitted. We were able to shoot whatever we wanted. And I guess I'm used to, after doing I Will Love and Parent Season 1, we had all these indoor locations that we were confident and comfortable shooting in, but outdoors can be a guerrilla shooting mess where you're always worried about getting in trouble, and maybe you have permits, maybe you don't. But we're out there on the beach and it was beautiful, and we mostly had it to ourselves, and we're able to shoot these panoramic shots with never looking over our shoulder of getting kicked out. And I feel like it really ups it makes the series feel more like it breathes and it gets outdoors, because sometimes in a web series you're going from apartment to apartment to apartment and you don't feel like you exist in the world as much.
Yeah.
This time we're outside, we're on a beach, we open it up, we go to a brewery, we're back at our sushi restaurant. I feel like that it fakes production value in a way that makes the series feels like it exists in the world.
Yeah, if you have a definite sense of place, then
Yeah.
that's its own perspective that an audience member can say like, oh, I get it. They live here, therefore that informs sort
Yeah.
of their opinions and how they see the world
Yeah.
outside of where they live.
You can say, hey, we live in L.A., and you can say that in dialogue, but when they're there at the beach, you've placed them. You know. that
Exactly.
they're-
I remember there was a television series, and that was the thing that bugged me about it, was that I could never tell exactly where it was. And a friend of mine worked post-production on it, and I said, where was it supposed to be? And he said, oh, Portland. I said, I would have never gotten that in a million years. And yeah, but then you have a show like Portlandia, who is so about where they are that it becomes its character too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to have those locations to really give that sense of place.
Thanks for calling, Jamie.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
thank
really
you.
good question.
I love the show
Bye-bye.
Silicon Valley, and both
Oh my God.
I was
Yeah.
about to bring that up, actually.
Ed and I grew up in the Bay Area, and I love Silicon Valley. But the only thing that bothers me about the show is that I live in the Valley and grew up in the Bay Area, and I know they're constantly shooting these quintessential Valley locations, and it bothers me because I know what the Bay Area looks like, and I wish they had found locations that did not have these palm trees, and for whatever reason, just because I know both of those places so well, it always bothers me when they're walking down alleys and I'm like, oh man, I know exactly where that is.
Because they've got everything else right. It feels like what we grew up in.
That's the thing, is
Really?
that casting, everything else,
Yeah.
they did a good job of emulating. Because our dad was in startups. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up in the Bay Area. Maybe not during the time period that's displayed in Silicon Valley, but earlier periods when this was still a budding tech. When Silicon Valley was getting its nickname, our dad was in startups. And trying to get companies off the ground and going through the trials that the characters in Silicon Valley are going through. I hope he didn't do a lot of the things that they do in Silicon Valley, because that would freak me out. But yeah.
Well, very cool, guys.
Yeah.
Pairings the series, huh?
Yep, Pairings the series.
Season 2.
You planning on a season 3?
I'm hoping for one, yeah.
Yeah? All right. I can't wait to check it out. Your premiere is on
Tuesday, June 3rd.
Tuesday, June 3rd. And what's the location? again?
It's the Garage in the Motor Club, which is their special bar, and that's in Culver City.
It's not unlimited capacity, so make a reservation.
Yeah, go to Eventbrite. Space is limited.
Okay. Go to Eventbrite and people can do a little search for
The tickets are
pairings.
free, but yeah, if you just search for pairings on Eventbrite, you'll find it, and tickets will be on sale on Monday, but it's really just free registration. But space is limited, so you do need to register.
Okay.
Cool.
And Pairings the series on Twitter. People can find you at Pairings.
Pairings Ed is the best place to follow to get information.
Ed.
You can find us on Facebook, /Pairing Series, pairingtheseries.com.
You're also on YouTube, right?
We're on YouTube.
And
Blip season 1. There'll be announcements probably at some point about exactly where you'll be able to find season 2 in late June and what dates exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really cool thing. They're like maybe 9-minute episodes, so you can actually watch the entire season in like an hour.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. The first season
Yeah.
you can watch in 45 minutes, and our second season is a little longer. The episodes are closer to 10, where the first season they were more like 7.
Okay. Great. Well, best of luck on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Will you come
Thank
back
you.
and join us and tell us when season 3 comes
Of
around?
course I will. Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Very cool.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you.
Another episode of La La Land is coming to a close, Dorothy.
Why, yes, it is.
We got a tweet
We did.
from our friend Michael Seal over at Boston Court.
Uh-huh.
He wanted us to mention that to our audience that Everything You Touch at Boston Court has been extended through May 18th. It is an LA Times Critics' Choice now, and you can get $10 off your tickets by using code MODEL, MODEL.
Very
Everything You
cool.
Touch.
Nice.
I've seen a lot of stuff at Boston Court. They're pretty amazing.
What other shows? We've got Into the Woods is still going on in Fullerton with 3D Theatricals.
In the Woods. Lena Gwendolyn has her show
Lena
on the
Gwendolyn
19th
on
at
the
the
19th.
Lemon Room. Don't Dress for Dinner last weekend. Peter
Right.
Palisades. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
My wife opens Music Man at Glendale Center Theater this upcoming week.
Ooh.
Yes. Our friend Ariella Fiore is in that.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a small world. Small theater world.
Pick a little, talk a little.
As is Rick's daughter, right?
It's my daughter's theatrical debut as a 6-year-old, yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Very cool. Well, next week on La La Land, another big packed show. We've been packing them in lately.
We
We've been
have.
doing 3 guests per show lately.
We gotta like shoehorn them in, man.
Pretty crazy.
It's great.
Live music is coming back to La La Land. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I know you are too.
Love it.
We have Bianca Giselle and her 1, 2, 3 amazing backup singers coming in to do some singing. She's got her show coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
They're going to be setting up, I think we're setting up a little band thing too.
Wow.
So yeah, should be great. And we have Chill Kong coming in to talk to us about Directors Lab West. It's starting up again this year.
Right.
And
we have Beth Kokendorfer and Jenny Green. They are a camera and audio and sound team that work on shows such as Real Housewives of Orange County, and they just dropped a show called Botched for E! Network. So they're going to tell it and what it's like to be. They're married to each other and they have kids. So that's a really interesting perspective that they have. They're parents. They work together. They're working it out.
Somehow, I guess it's possible. Some couples can do it.
Yep.
When you say they dropped the show, do you mean that they
Wrapped the show.
Oh, they wrapped it? So it's in production. It's done.
It's in production. I'm not sure what the when it's coming on air, but they've already wrapped the whole season for Botched.
I love the title, but they'll come in and tell us what that's all
Yes,
about.
it is it's fascinating what they're and because they're both women and they have worked in that particular kind of reality television, they were sought after, and that's why they were chosen for this particular show. So they'll tell us a little bit about that too.
Great.
Yep.
Well, you can find information about us if you want to.
You can.
You go to facebook.com/lalalandtalk. You can also go to twitter.com/lalalandtalk.
Follow.
You can send us an email at lalalandtalk@gmail.com.
Send.
And, we'll be back next week on La La Land.
See ya.
It's Dorothy Dillingham Blue.
There's Brett Chapin.
And this is La La Land on LA Talk Live. We'll see you at the top. Happy Mother's Day, Dorothy.